Before we commence our program, we shall seek the blessings of the Almighty.
ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है.
May I now invite the chief guest of the day, Mr. Acharya sir, Managing Director, Mott MacDonald, and guest of the day, Mr. Ajey Nandurkar sir, Divisional Director, Mott MacDonald, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Venkataraman, entire faculty, and to invite both me and my colleague Ajay, who heads the management consulting operation in India. And it's our privilege to interact with students. And I think I have been kind of going to some of your, not exactly in Gurgaon, but I think I've gone to Hyderabad and then also to Calcutta.
In fact, Acharya, I visited Gurgaon 2 years back. I think Sonia Maini was your placement officer. We recruited 2 or 3 persons from IBS.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. So just to kind of, before I start about actually, the main topic, I just want to kind of tell that Mott MacDonald is not exactly an engineering firm. Mott MacDonald is an engineering development and development. When I say development, means we do a lot of social development work. So I think we are a management engineering and development consulting. So it's almost about 40 to 45% of our revenue comes out of management and development. So, slowly we have moved out from being purely an hardcore infrastructure company to doing other things. For example, in India, we have worked extensively on HIV and AIDS management. We have done the school improvement program for Department for International Development, Government of UK. We supported the Government of India scheme. We've done the skill development program. We in fact before the formation of the Ministry of the skills, we did a lot of design work for the Ministry of Skills. It's quite different. So I mean, not exactly today, but in some other time when things are normal, I might come down and speak to students about exactly what we do in our projects. So think, before as I said, actually, before becoming the managing director, I had a difficult role in 2013. We faced with a different challenge, compared to what we are facing today. And we have overcome that kind of challenge, actually. I do not want to deliver that, actually, but we had certain element of those challenges which we are facing today. I think the topic today is, I'm talking to Mr. Venkataraman, he said, how are we sailing through the difficult time today that we have? How are we doing it Mott MacDonald way? I don't think it's purely a Mott MacDonald way. Any business possibly will do it to look at things which we are doing. So let's look at actually, the topics we are covering today. Ajay, can you just go to the next slide, please? So we first of all, business continuity. Then we look at the business response. What are the current predicament for what we are facing today? What are the next step for us, all in for the companies, and then followed by whatever questions the student would like to ask. So before I start the business continuity, I think it's quite interesting. I think it was 15th of March. I traveled to Mumbai, and in the airport, I could see that's the time actually the number of positive cases of the pandemic started to increase here in India. And I reached Mumbai, and I'd actually gone, one of my colleagues from UK who was working with me as my commercial director was going back. So it was, we had gone to entire board wanted to give a, farewell to him. And then I advised some of my other colleagues not to travel back from Delhi to Mumbai. We, in fact, the board member immediately met, and we decided that things are not looking good. We need to do something different, and we need to communicate to our staff. We had no inkling about lockdown and what's going to happen, but we thought, I think it's important that we need to start acting now. We already, the group in UK already had prepared a pandemic plan in January 2020. What we did immediately is we communicated. We had a town hall. We communicated to all our staff, and You know, we got 6 offices in India. We kind of communicate to almost about 1,000 staff. That things are not looking good. We do not want you to panic, but if there is a need for us to work from home, or how do we look at business continuity, please cooperate with our IT and give as much information that you can. So we did a survey, collected more information. I then came back to Delhi, and I immediately got a WhatsApp message from the HR head saying that Mumbai is going for a 50% lockdown from the very next Monday. And I started panicking at that moment. I said, oh God, what's going to happen? We need to act quickly. We started, I immediately, said to my team that we need to collect more information about what's going to happen. And we came to know through some reliable sources that India may go for a lockdown. And I thought, yeah, time to act. And that's how we started to act. So immediately I activated the crisis management team, and staffs were communicated, again through a town hall all over India, all 1,000 staff. It was a challenge for us because we have 60% of our, the machines are laptop and 40% are desktop. And when we are talking about desktop, a lot of people those who do infrastructure design work actually do with dual monitor. You will see in the next page. So we collected a lot of information about, who has got what type of internet and facilities at home. And we immediately had a small little team in each of the locations to ensure that the machines are packed, transported, delivered, installed at different places. Some staff volunteered, say that we will do it on our own. Few staff, but very successful in doing it about 3 to 4 days before the lockdown happened. And I'm very, very proud that we did it, our entire, all 1,000 people to work from home 3 days before the lockdown when my competitors started to struggle. So in terms of the predicament, if you look at, I think, what really happened is because of what in the last few months, the supply disruptions, in use, whether in infrastructure or manufacturing, we work extensively on the manufacturing side. And then we import a lot of things, supplies from China that were disrupted. Within India, the supply disruptions were mainly because of the transport. Transport was a big issue actually because the road transport was not operating. The demand got impacted pretty badly actually. One of the major reasons for the demand getting impacted is about the loss of job of 140 million people lost job in India. Worldwide, if you look at, we had almost never heard of in a place like US that lost 45 million. It's also impacted our US business. Revenue losses in the government actually because the tax collections were less. As a result, the infra project were also impacted not only because of supply disruptions, labor availability, but also because of the revenue. And then working capital issues were seen, within, companies, and it started to kind of impact, a lot of corporates. And World Bank, ADB, Asian Development Bank, all predicted India to grow about 5-6% before the crisis struck in March. But everybody is talking about, World Bank talks about 1%, ADB 2%, and a lot of rating agencies are lowered their things. So financial year 2021, my gut feeling, having a background of economics, is about I think we will get into recession.
We see the sectors which will have possible upturn are digital and internet economy. Online-based products and services companies will find new takers with a possibility of penetrating across every sphere of activity, like a street vendor accepting digital payment or virtual societal conduct, etc. EdTech and online education, along with firms involved with online skill development, they will have better opportunities. Online groceries, FMCG and retail will benefit immensely with continued fear. Food-based retail chains and companies catering to low ticket consumption demand will emerge as winners. Specialty chemical firms dealing in chemicals will see a jump due to increased demand for disinfectant, drugs, and medicine. Pharmaceuticals, medical devices, diagnostics, and telemedicine firms are set to see a growth in the near term for obvious reasons that we all know.
So emerging from crisis, what will the company do? I think they will be more disciplined about the cost management. I think no more luxury. I think we will all be monitoring costs very carefully. They will operate more virtually. We are thinking going forward, whether we would operate 50%, from home. We'll have more hot desk. We're kind of deliberating on that. There will be frequent two-way employees communications, which is must. Company which doesn't do those things will start to do it more actually. More flexible approach to people cost. You might find less permanent staff, more temporary staff or contract staff, because that will be easier for company to kind of reduce cost when there is a need. Retraining and reskilling of the staff in newer areas. Not necessarily they will continue, because I think the new opportunities will arise that staff need to be retrained. I think a lot of people don't even think about, the crisis team actually. I think we luckily at the group level, we always thought that you need to have crisis management team or disaster management team. But luckily we have crisis management team, but I think companies will add crisis leadership traits to the leadership team. And the employees' value propositions, I think, would be very, very important. They will start to market other than only salaries. Selective in the, all the internal initiatives, they will be very, very selective. They'll be more focused on the employee engagement, more companies, and use crisis such as opportunities. So I think all these things, actually, we think the things will change and the company will operate slightly, differently than it does today. Next. Right. So I'm on to success. I'm really proud actually, and of individual sacrifices and contributions my staff have done, all 1,000 staff. Our technology adoption has been very quick, very good, well appreciated by client, well appreciated by staff. We deliver great projects and win and our innovations really helping us actually. We are winning project. I think last week we won a major project. This week actually we are supposed to sign a contract with the client. So we're still kind of winning great project and delivering. And I think we believe in our value, which is called pride, progress, respect, integrity, drive, and excellence, and our equality, diversity, inclusion, and our social purpose. I mean, every project that we do, the social outcome is very, very important to us. So at the end, I think our mantra to success is about, our integrity, our pride really. Yeah. That's all from my end. Thank you for listening.
What an outstanding speech it was. Very clear that no one can get to the top unless they think and act differently. This is what leadership is all about. Dear audience, whoever has a question to ask the guests or director, sir, may kindly press the raise hand button in the participants box.
The first question is from Arushi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arushi Dixit. My question to you, sir, is that Mott MacDonald, I learned that it is an employee-owned organization.
Yeah.
How does this benefit both employee and the public at large, sir?
Yes, so two different questions, but I'll answer. So how does it employ, so I think, as I said, 12% of our staff are employees owned. One of the things what happens is the staff, those who are senior, they do share the risk and return. So that means if we do well, we have a variable pay, which comes through return from the shareholders, right? The return comes straight away to the shareholders. But it is not necessarily only to the 12%. So all the staff in a given year are also rewarded one time in March, looking at the return that we have throughout the globe, not necessarily any unit in India or in Australia or in this. So we put them together to kind of look at. So we're not like a franchisee. So I don't name companies that are franchises. They'll give 5% and stay franchises. We are a purely 100% employee-owned company. 100% owned by Mott MacDonald. And so your second part of the question is, how does it imply, public? I think, as I said, that our integrity is very, very good at being employable. So we are, I think our purpose of doing anything that we do is, a social purpose is very, very important. We believe in social outcome. Take, for example, we are talking about net zero today. So it means we want to reduce our carbon footprint. We need to be responsible to reduce our carbon footprint. Individually we make people responsible. And so if you are responsible, you will be delivering things, the right things for your client. So I think a social purpose makes us. A lot of people talk about climate change, all these things, but I think all this leads to social outcome. So if a company believes in social outcome, okay, anything that you do, you can design a particular bridge, right, which can be the best in the world, but how does it cater to that social purpose? Are you spending too much of public money for designing the bridge? You could have reduced the cost by innovating and spending less with public money. So we can look at overall, so it's not, so whether we do a design or we do anything else, I think behind that, the social purpose is the most important, which in turn helps the public at large.